From now on, we will study about the way to determine a precedent that the subordinating conjunction indicates among the options of the precedent. The subordinating conjunction who, whom, or whose links the subordinate clause to the main clause in either a defining way or a non-defining way. Let's start to study about the defining or non-defining way to apply the subordinating conjunction that links the subordinate clause as a description to the main clause. The premise to consider the subordinating conjunction to be applied in a defining way or a non-defining way is this. The subordinate clause is applied as a description for a precedent. Without precedent in the main clause, we cannot consider whether the subordinate clause is applied in a defining way or a non-defining way. The application of a subordinating conjunction in a defining or a non-defining way indicates the way to arrange the precedent in the main clause and the subordinating conjunction. Based on the fact that the subordinate clause is a description for the precedent, we will start to deal with the two ways. The speaker can apply the subordinating conjunction to indicate the same subject or object as the precedent of the main clause in a defined way without the comma, or in a non-defined way with the comma. The term the defining way as the definition of the transitive verb define describes the concept to set a boundary. The object of description. From this definition of the verb define, we can understand that the term, the defining way or the non-defining way, reveals the relationship between the precedent and the subordinating conjunction. The defining way to apply the subordinating conjunction for the precedent reveals that the precedent and the subordinating conjunction stated in a boundary to link the subordinate clause to the main clause. The non-defining way to apply the subordinating conjunction for the precedent in the main clause does not set a boundary. The continuous way of statement. The comma reveals that the statement of the main clause is finished. the fact that the subordinate clause as a description about a subject or an object indicated by the precedent in the main clause is stated behind the statement of the main clause connotes that the speaker prioritizes the main intention conveyed from the main clause. In the non-defining way, to apply the subordinating conjunction to describe the precedent in the main clause, the speaker prioritizes the main intention conveyed in the main clause. So the subordinating conjunction applied to link the subordinate clause to the main clause in a non-defining way with the comma reveals the fact that one of the objects of the precedent in the main clause is determined. The subordinating conjunction applied in the non-defining way indicates one of the indications as the options for the precedent. The form of the verb, the number of the precedent, the information about whether the precedent participates in the conversation or not, whether the precedent indicates a person or not, helpful for the listeners to identify the precedent corresponding with the subordinating conjunction. This page, the discussion about the way to apply the subordinating conjunction to link the subordinate clause as an indication itself. The described subject or object by the subordinate clause is applied as an indication. The described subject or object indicated by the subordinate clause is applied as a subject or an object. So the discussion to verify the way of applying the subordinating conjunction, that, whether, who, whose, what, which, or all, in a defining way or a non-defining way to link the subordinate clause that has the trait as indication to the main clause is invalid. We can simply say there isn't the precedent to be. The first example is this. I ask, who is in the classroom? The speaker indicates the object of the transitive verb ask. In the main clause with the subordinate clause, who is in the classroom? The object of the transitive verb ask is described by be verb. The predicate is in the classroom. The described object in the subordinate clause is the only object of the transitive verb ask. As the subordinate clause who is in the classroom is an indication about an object of the transitive verb ask, the discussion about whether the pronoun who is applied in a defining way or a non-defining way is invalid. The second sentence is this. Jesus Christ actualizes what I have always looked for. The speaker indicates the object of the transitive verb actualizes in the main clause with the subordinate clause what I have always looked for. The speaker indicates the object of the transitive verb actualizes with the subordinate clause, what I have always looked for. The object of the preposition for is indicated by the pronoun what, applied as a subordinating conjunction. The object of the preposition for to receive the definition of the preposition for from the subject of the preposition for. The speaker is applied as the object of the transitive verb actualizes. The speaker intends to indicate a described object. So the speaker applies the pronoun what to link the subordinate clause as an indication.